get into the job market. The educational system in Africa is shaped largely to train doctors, medical doctors, nurses, lawyers, accountants, and that is what people go to school for. But when they come abroad, they realize it is easy to change the areas of profession or to adapt to the realities. Tell us a little bit what they should consider once they start focusing or once they start living the realities of a different world.
So I think something that's really exciting about the U.S. and employers and employment is this concept of lateral movement, right? So being able to move across from a company within a company or in another company. And I think the goal with many corporations, if you're coming to the U.S. and you're looking at either small, medium business, maybe you're looking at a large enterprise, is not to think about how do you get the ideal job. It's really to think about how do you get your entry into the door, because it's a company you like that may have a job that you enjoy. So, for example, if you have medical training and you come over as a doctor or nurse and you have that skill set expertise, it's a great opportunity to go into a medical technology company, what we call a med tech, right? And there's lots of med tech companies. You can think about those are going to be companies that are making medical devices. It could be a smartwatch. It could be an implant in your wrist for your bones. It could be different screws. It could be a chip of some sorts. So anything that's medical and technology, because you already have a medical background, you are going to be a value asset to a company that is in the medtech industry. So a lot of times you may have the opportunity to enter in through a medical type of role that they may need people that have nurse background for doing, let's say, lab testing, lab environments, right? Helping out in the labs and helping out with those facilities. And many times within those companies, there is opportunities for what's called cross-training. So the ability that even though you work in the lab to get the training opportunity with the IT team, you might get an opportunity to stay for a day. You may get an opportunity just to talk to people in the hallway or in the cafeteria. But that's a great way to start interacting and building your network with other people that are in the same company as you that are working in an area of technology that you want to get into. And so that's something I always recommend.
Yeah, you striking a very important point there about networking, because even before you realize that you can get into the doors of a medtech company or into the doors of a medical company, you need to first of all understand how the situation operates. So in my view, the first thing is building a network, right? Yeah. Trying to understand how the network operates, people you talk to, how people can advise you on what is happening, because the knowledge you're coming with is knowledge that is based entirely on your previous life, but you're in a new world and you need to talk to people. How should that actually play in?
I would say don't think of it as a friendship, right? You have an opportunity to come over to start working with new people and really to start learning about them and understanding who they are. And so that's a great opportunity for you to get in the room with them, right? Just talk to them, share your story, share your background, share about you, what made you move over to where you're coming to, right? If you have family here as well, right? Share your story and just start kind of building that relationship on a very personal level. And then as you start to become friends with them, you get to know the people, you'll start meeting other people in the office, you'll meet other people in their network. You have tools like LinkedIn, of course, to network outside beyond the immediate group. But I would really think about it as a long-term goal. It's not a transactional thing, right? You're not just meeting and saying, hey, we want to do this show and that's it, right? Like when you and I met, it was really about, hey, how can we collaborate? How can we work together, right? What are some of our synergies? What are some things that we're both working on? And when you come at it from that angle of just, hey, I want to share, I want to work together, people are much more adoptive and respective to bringing you into their network, right? The other key thing is, as you're starting to build that network, you're looking for really what's called validity and visibility, right? So you're really trying to connect with different people that can validate the ideas that you have. Ideally, kind of you want them to invalidate your ideas too, right? So if you have a different perspective, if you have unique ideas, it's great to hear that, yes, hey, that aligns with our company. We, the way that we do software development here is the same way. Or actually to hear, no, we do it differently. And then when you hear those invalidities or invalidities, right, when somebody tells you we do it differently, that's a great opportunity for you to dig even more, right? Learn from them and then ask them, hey, who else can I talk to? Who else can I learn more from? And so every network opportunity that you have really should turn into ideally another 2 network opportunities that you have. And the way I like to think about it is every time that you meet somebody, you're affecting 3 lives, right? There's the other person they're going to tell to and yours.
Excellent view. As you mentioned, we met and were talking about completely different things, and then it morphed into this, and it morphed into another, and it introduced me to other people that will be coming to the platform. We'll be talking here, and that is how the cycle grows. So you mentioned tools a moment ago. You mentioned about LinkedIn. Are there other tools you can kind of establish or talk about so people who are coming abroad or coming to the diaspora now can learn and know more about it?
Yeah, I mean, I will come at it from my world is a lot of the blockchain, Web3, AI, cloud world, right? And I think a lot of this world is about tools like Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, Twitter. You kind of have to have at least an understanding of all those apps. I would say the most important ones are really Discord. There's a lot of great communities and learning opportunities on Discord in the blockchain Web3 world. There is a lot of scam ones also, so you have to be careful. But that's a great tool to learn and get involved in. LinkedIn is another one for building your social professional network. At Twitter, Twitter depends, right? I see Twitter as much more like Reddit as a source of information. It's a great place to go learn and learn about the companies and people at the companies that you want to go work at. Learn about the types of jobs and the things that they do from real world people that are there. It's not really a place where I find for like social networking and interaction, right? You may interact in a Twitter thread and stuff like that, but I find LinkedIn and Discord much more for communicative purposes.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting to me, and I just wanted to underscore the importance of selling yourself, right? Not exaggerating the sale of your competencies, but putting yourself out there, especially on these platforms, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, whatsoever. And you sell yourself, you let people know what you can do. You look at people's communication and understand how they align with yours, and you can take it up from there. Because once you open that door, you talk to one person, and if the conversation actually flows, it's going to open up to other conversations, and you get to meet new people. But if you kind of sell a self that is not true, after the first two conversations, is going to explode, and people are going to see the untruthfulness in what you have actually put out there. So it's necessary to maintain yourself, but show the willingness to learn, and let your guests or your other parties know that you are new to this world and you're trying to learn more about the world. You want to understand, and there are many people who are going to be ready to hold your hand and move forward. Like I said a few minutes ago, Shai has been ready to hold my hand and introduce me to other people on projects that I want to execute. So it's necessary that we talk. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. One thing I know, Shai, is that some of us are really shy. We don't come out. We don't talk about ourselves. Can you just throw a little light on why it is not important? Why it is important to not be shy?
Yeah, so I would say don't be shy, because then half of your name is AI. But besides that, I would say I grew up as a very shy child, actually. And in normal cases, I'm very introverted, right? But I think it's important to be yourself, right? It's important to be out there, because the challenge is today we don't have the same real world interactions that we used to have before, right? Where you're interacting with people, you're having casual conversations. Out of those casual conversations, all of a sudden turns out opportunities. Unfortunately, the real world, most places I've been to in this country, someplace in the world, people just tend to pass each other by and not really communicate actively, right? And so I think it's really important to show who you are, to be out there, right? Try to be on shows, try to write content, try to help other people where you can. You said before about kind of selling and branding yourself. The way that I think about that is in three different ways. You have the who you are, right? People want to know who you are and understand like your story and where you come from, right? That's something that we've seen a really big change over the last 4 or 5 years in the tech world, if you will, right? As we moved to remote and people started to get to know each other more, it's really become about who you are, right? You're not selling yourself. You're just telling who you are and your story. You're then talking about why it is that you do what you do, right? You're not talking about exactly what you do yet. You're just talking about why you do it, right? I'm passionate about these things because I want to change the world. Why do I want to change the world? Because I want to make it a better place for my kids. Why? Because I believe that there's opportunities for them to have better education and better healthcare, and so on and so on. And then finally, at the end, you talk about what it is that you actually do. And so when you're thinking about, your branding, you're selling yourself, you're putting yourself out there, it's actually much easier to talk about who you are and talk about why you do the things that you do than talking about what you do. So my suggestion is always leave off the what you do, right? People will find that out when they get on the phone with you and they talk to you. They'll ask you, right? What does he do? What areas of expertise do you have? If you're doing a good job of talking about who you are and why you do the things that you do, you likely will not even need to explain what it is that you actually do, because that person will just jump in and say, hey, I have this problem or this issue. Can you help me out with this? Right. And that will usually align with the things that you're already working on anyhow. So that's the way I like to approach that. The other part is